We've got some cushion. Let's figure out what we want to do. And we started really exploring where could we truly help people and where did it really make sense for us and what felt like it was aligned. And what really felt aligned for us is helping people not sell other people's stuff, which would be network marketing and affiliate marketing, because then you're beholden to those other companies and there's all kinds of other things that happen, but instead helping people sell their own stuff. Actually just leaning into their expertise and their unique skills and abilities to help people. And that's really where we decided to go, because we looked at our own journey and we looked at where were these big pivots for us, or where were these big jumping points? How did we really take things up a notch? And for us, we went from low six figures a year to multiple six figures a month when we switched into selling our own expertise.
Welcome to ReLaunch to a Rich Life podcast, where we don't just talk transformation, we live it. Today's guest, Leah Rae Getts, was making $189,000 a month and still decided to shut it all down. She's the co-founder of digitaltrailblazers.com, host of the Digital Trailblazer podcast. She's helping coaches, course creators, and really anyone out there that is interested in scaling profitable businesses online. You need to hear this story. But behind her success is a bold move that most would never make. This is the kind of story that defines what it really means to relaunch to a rich life on your terms. So let's right now dive in. Leah Rae, it is so good to have you. I had a chance to meet you and I'm like, we need to keep the conversation going. And here we are. I love when that happens.
I am so grateful to be here with you, Hilary. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, the first time we talked, it was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to just keep it going. And I said, I need you on the podcast. And here we are. I love when things like this happen. And you've got such an interesting path and journey. And in today's world, there's a lot of relaunches going on. And I have to say, for those that are watching this in video, you're going to see that, yes, there's a relaunch on my head right now, a health one. I'm happy to say that everything turned out fantastic. They got it all. High five. But there are people right now that are making decisions. And I really want to take like a few steps back to your biggest, boldest relaunch, why you did it, and the impact that it's had on your life. So let's go to your significant relaunch.
Yes, thank you so much. We did have a massive relaunch, and I'll probably say the plural we quite frequently because I run the business with my husband. We've been a team and a partnership throughout this process, but we started in the online space serving as a part of the home business industry and serving the home business industry. So meaning,
how long ago was this, just to put it in perspective?
I want to say 10 years ago.
Okay. So you've been doing this a while.
Yes, it's been a minute. And so we were like a lot of people. I was a registered nurse. He was actually a band director. We had made some career moves and we were trying to figure out how to bring him home, because at this point in our lives, we had been praying for children for 10 years. We finally adopted our first son, and my husband was traveling Sunday afternoons through Thursday nights and Friday mornings every single week, which was really, really hard, and definitely not
very hard.
Yeah. Not the family life we were praying for 10 years. So we were looking for alternatives, ways to bring him home. We were living in rural Oklahoma at the time, and there really wasn't a lot of options that would pay the kind of money he was used to as a traveling consultant. And we got introduced in network marketing, like a lot of people. It's like the appetizer, I think, for a lot of folks to dip your toes into entrepreneurship and have that personal growth needed to start to think differently. Because I was definitely grew up in a very secure-minded, get a job type of mindset. That's how I was raised. That's why I was a nurse, because they're always needed, right? And we found on network marketing, we kind of sucked big time at it offline, which was like most people, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, there are days that I feel like I suck and I just keep, you got to crawl out of the hole too.
Yes, exactly. So we found the whole online space trying to figure out how to make network marketing work. In the process, we ended up finding affiliate marketing, and we learned how to do basic internet marketing, how to build funnels, copywriting, sales calls, all of the core elements needed to be successful in home business and really in any kind of online business. But in affiliate marketing, we were selling a platform that taught these different things. And so it worked out fabulous for us. We were super successful. We were able to, Todd was able to go full time, I think about a year into the business, where it replaced his 6-figure job. And then within another year past that, we had hit our first 6-figure month. And so coming from people who, I went to school to get as a nurse. He went to school originally as a band teacher. Like, that was crazy amounts of money, like more money in a month than we had dreamed about making in a year when we first got married. Like, it was insane. What we had started to do is really to teach all of the cool things that we were learning, teaching how to generate leads online. We had a Twitter course, we had an Instagram course, and they went bananas. And it really, really went crazy for us. And we ended up stepping away from network marketing altogether, but we were still serving people in the home business industry.
And you stepped away from network marketing because you realized, like, we really just want to focus in this one area.
Yes. So we were doing well with network marketing, but what you don't know from a lot of the leaders out there is that they make most of their money selling courses and coaching, not from network marketing. And for us, it became just a resource allocation discussion, because we had now 2 kiddos, and the amount of effort that we had to put in to network marketing was way higher than what we had to do when it came to selling our expertise in courses and coaching. And so we had a new baby. I just couldn't spread myself that thin. Right.
So you really had to walk away, decide, I'm going to focus on this. And how did what was there a true decision process, or was it just like, how did you do it? What was the step?
Was the beginning of the bigger pivot. Okay. So this was, we're going to still serve the same audience, teach people how to generate leads and everything online. People who are in network marketing, who are in affiliate marketing, but we're not going to build our own network marketing team anymore, because it's just too much work right now, and we need more family time. Okay. So that was the first beginning of the pivot. But then we made a much, much bigger pivot. So after we leaned into the courses side of things, things went nuts for us. That's when we were able to scale with our ads, and we were, we hit our 6 figures, and then it quickly, within the next few months, it was up to almost $200,000 a month, which was wild. But that's also when we started to really feel not aligned.
In what way? What is this alignment that you're going for? What was it? What should it have felt like, and what did it feel like?
So while we were no longer a part of network marketing, we were still selling the dream of network marketing in a way, because we were teaching people how to be successful in it by how to generate leads and make sales, with the different courses and things we were teaching. And I started to lose faith in the industry, and we both really did together. And we saw this after so many people that we knew were doing the right things. They were taking the actions they were told to take, and they just weren't succeeding. And we saw the leaders moving from company to company and just pulling people over with big promises, and the whole concept of lifetime residuals and stuff. Like, it all just started. And if you're in network marketing, bless you. If it's worked out for you, that's amazing.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I just saw too many good people putting all of their effort into it and failing.
But I also think the most, intriguing to me, because this is, so important in what I teach as well, is that alignment part.
Yes.
That it just didn't feel right. Yeah.
It didn't, because I saw so many people trying so hard and doing the right steps and not succeeding. I felt like it really wasn't good. I wasn't doing good with my talents if I was still kind of selling that dream or supporting that dream that caused a lot of people suffering in a way, right? And so we had to have some really tough discussions. Now, we were living fairly modestly, especially for the amount of money we were making. So thankfully, we had plenty of cushion for to
That is
play
really
with.
fortunate because I
Yeah.
think that, a lot of times people start to make the money and they start to spend the money. So
Right, right.
that was
So
that was a good position to be in.
yes, so we had the benefit to say, okay, this no longer feels in alignment. I don't know what we're going to do, but let's take some time and figure out what we're going to do because this doesn't feel right anymore. I didn't feel like I was serving and helping people.
And your
And
husband didn't either.
correct. This was a joint discussion and a joint feeling because, we had been in some of the leadership things within network marketing. It left a really sour taste in our
Mhm,
mouths.
mhm,
And we didn't feel like we were helping people. And
mhm.
that for us is key. Like, we are Christian, we are Catholic. Our
Yeah.
goal is to help people in the world. That is our life's vision. And so if we couldn't confidently feel like we are making a positive impact in the world, then we got to take a pause and figure,
Mhm.
okay, so how do we actually do that better and in a way that makes sense? So yeah, we had crazy amounts of money coming in. We were spending a ton of money in ads. We were making way more money in sales, selling our digital courses and our
Mhm.
online membership. And we just turned it off.
How long did you turn it off for? Like, how long did this
Oh, we
pause?
shut it down. So
That's just,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it really was out of alignment for you to
yeah,
say, you know what, we're not even going to do like a trickle
yeah,
effect here. We're going to go, we're done. We're
yeah,
done.
yep.
And so you turned it off and you
Mhm.
have these two little kids.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
So we shut off all the ads. We stopped selling our courses, and we ended up also shutting down the membership as well. And I mean, we had a lot of money in the bank, which was nice. So we knew, and we had confidence in ourselves. So we had been on this entrepreneurial journey enough to know, okay, we've got the core skills to make something happen. So we've got some cushion. Let's figure out what we want to do. And we started really exploring where could we truly help people, and where did it really make sense for us, and what felt like it was aligned. And what really felt aligned for us is helping people not sell other people's stuff, which would be network marketing and affiliate marketing, because then you're beholden to those other
Mhm,
companies and there's all
mhm.
kinds of other things that happen. But instead, helping people sell their own stuff, actually just leaning into their expertise and their unique skills and abilities to help people. And that's really where we decided to go, because we looked at our own journey and we looked at where were these big pivots for us, or where were these big starting, like, jumping points. How did we
Mm.
really take things up a notch? And for us, we went from low six figures a year to multiple six figures a month when we switched into selling our own expertise and stopped trying to sell other people's stuff and fit ourselves into other
So,
people's
so wait a
boxes.
second. The pause was how long? How long when you turned it off to
Mhm.
when you're like, all right, we're starting this up again?
So we started in a completely different direction. So
Mhm.
it was probably 6 months or better, I want to say.
That's still pretty darn, I mean, that is
Yeah.
really great. And I want to know, what was like really when you and your husband were sitting there and you turned it off and ads went dark and everything, and you two are looking at each other. And I did hear you say you've got great faith.
Mhm.
Um, there must have been a moment like where you're like, you're like, oh boy, here we go. And for the
Mhm.
people out there that are in this position of either they, have to make a move because a company has made that decision for them, or they're going out and they're trying to figure out, do you think looking back, it was the right decision to just say, turn it off and start something new? Or could you have pivoted slower getting
Mhm.
into the new while you were still doing the old?
I think it worked out well for us because of the amount of money that we had saved.
And if you didn't have the money saved,
Yes, then we would have handled it much, much differently.
it might have been
So
a different decision. I
yes,
respect that. But
yeah,
you did have that savings. You were living, modestly under
yes.
what you were bringing in. So at that point, you turn this on. And how long did it actually take to make more money than you were making before in a month?
Mhm. So we knew what we wanted to do or what direction we're headed, probably 6 months. It may have been closer to a year before we really started selling, though, because we needed to explore more in the space, really know what was going on, go through some growth, and just test some things and run some betas, right?
What do you think you did in starting this new business that was true wisdom from what you already knew? Like you started it, and I kind of look at it from there's TV shows that, if you had to start all over today, how would you do it? And you have 90 days to make $1 million. What would be your advice there? What's that wisdom?
What helped us a lot is that we had built a brand that people knew and trusted, right? And there was some crossover. So yes, we left a lot of our list and a lot of our social followings. We kind of made the pivot away from where they were and what they were doing. But also at this time, a lot of the people who had been in network marketing in the home business space were also having the same realization that we were. And when we shared our story and became more public about what we were doing, it really resonated with people. And that's right when sort of the coaching industry was opening up and people were realizing, hey, I already have this great expertise that I can help people do X, Y, and Z. I could just do that instead of trying to push someone else's protein shake. Right.
Yeah. This is, when we talk about the podcast is called ReLaunch to a Rich Life. And it's not just about the money. Right. It never is. No. And when you started to realize, you had your two kids, you had now a successful business, the whole idea of the rich life and timing and being able to spend and being able to have the moments with your family and then also run the business with your husband, by the way. Right. I would love to ask, how did you make all that work?
Patience and prayers and yes, strong-willed, just bullheadedness, I guess you would say probably. So we know that we've got amazing skills. We've learned that the hard way through the beginning of our journey. It came through a lot of prayer, right? A lot of okay, Lord, we're going to trust you're going to guide us through this process. We're going to trust that you gave us the skills and the intellect and the fortitude that we need to be successful. And we're just going to move and you're going to guide the path. And that has allowed us to keep moving things forward. I know we get the question a lot, how in the world do you run a business with your spouse? Because that is a challenge. And I won't say that we have everything figured out, but one thing that's been really helpful for us is that we each have our own space of the business, different areas that we are in charge of. So I am in charge of our social media presence. I am in charge of our sales, and really client acquisition, if you will, and managing our sales team. Whereas Todd is in charge of our copywriting and our ads and our funnels and our technical elements. We both do coaching on our respective areas of expertise. But when it comes to building the business, we have very different skill sets that we've been able to lean into and to really get good at. And so when we collaborate on things, it's amazing, but we really let whoever's expertise it is decide what direction we're going and really trust in their wisdom in the process, which has been really helpful.
Do you ever think, what, that copy's not that good?
Yes.
Do you ever just really think it, but then do you speak it? Do you say something?
I usually do gently, but because of my unique perspective, I run the sales team and I do a lot of the closing for our organization. And if you don't know this, ladies and gentlemen, the conversations that you have on a sales call is copy gold.
Yeah. That's a really great point.
Gold, because they're telling you exactly what their problems are, what they're trying to achieve, what's been holding them back, all of the stuff that you need to make really, really good copy. And so the best copy that comes from my husband is when we're collaborating on that, where I'm giving him some ideas and I'm giving him some feedback based on all of the conversations that I'm having with our prospects and leads. That's where the magic really, really happens. So he's the ultimate, expert when it comes to the structure and the framing and everything else. But I'm definitely going to give him feedback on what I'm hearing people say. And hey, I don't think this part's going to resonate that much with them. What they're saying to me is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Okay. So then you talk about your space, what you work on, but do you also have space that you have two offices? Are you in the same room? How does that work?
We have two offices. Yeah.
Because I would think, and do you come out for lunch?
We are kind of on random schedules. I think with having little kids, and we're getting back into homeschooling, and we're preparing for hopefully another child through adoption soon. We're just kind of in it, right? We're in the thick of it, going
You
at it.
are in the thick. And then you throw in homeschooling. I mean, that's powerful right there. And
Yeah.
so let me ask you, when you're thinking about kind of growing the business, scaling the business, there's actually fear of success, right?
Yes.
It's not just fear of failure, it's fear of like, okay, if we get this thing too big. Do you ever have that fear?
No, I don't think so. I think I have maybe at parts, stages of the business.
What does success give you?
Freedom.
If you have more of this freedom,
Yes.
and I want to ask you, freedom to do what?
Choices. So for me, success and getting to our next level, right, is really what we're looking at now. And that's, I think, wherever you are, success is that next level, or having that thing. For us, taking it to the next level is building ourselves out of the business a little bit, right? Like being able to hand over more things and create more freedom for us and our family. And so to me, that's really exciting. I guess there is a little fear when it comes to handing things over, being a type A kind of control freak type personality. That there is some fear in that, like being able to trust that things are happening and doing and all of the good stuff. But that is our next level of success, is continuing to grow, but adjusting things to pull us out of more of the day-to-day that we're in.
So, we have this course, Flip Your World in 40 Days. And one of the things that we make sure happens within the first 1 week is gaining clarity on the one thing that you need to do in the 40 days that would impact your business in such a profound way.
Yeah.
What would that one thing that God, if I could just spend 40 days focusing on this, it would really help your growth, your scaling, to allow for freedom?
Oh, that's such a big question. I would say an implementer. That would probably be it. Implementer. Someone that I can have big level discussions on, and then they go and do.
So it would be, in your mind, it would really impact your business, giving you that, more of the freedom. If you had somebody who was kind of the right-hand person to where you focus on in the business.
And also on the elements that Todd does as well, because what ends up happening is I'm having really good ideas or want to do some things, but I need him to sit down and actually set up the funnels or to figure out the copy that we're going to use, and so projects can get backed up. I think with like a lot of people's businesses, we have all these ideas and things that are on the to-do list, but if I had an implementer that could help with actually the doing process, that would really allow us the agility and flexibility to adjust quicker and to grow faster.
There is a great book out there, E-Myth Revisited. I make everyone read it. It's so good because it talks about the visionary. You've got these great ideas, you want to expand, but you're in the weeds, you're doing everything. And so working on the business versus in the business is what the book is about. And if you haven't read it, everyone, please go get it. It's so good. Leave me a comment, share with us what's the biggest takeaway, because that's exactly what you're referring to. That's exactly what Leah Rae is saying, that you have to be, giving yourself the freedom that as the visionary, you're trying to make this thing grow. You're a type A, but having the ability to say, now go do something and make it happen. I love that. So what are you, and I talk about relaunches, and a lot of times I say significant relaunch of the past, right? And yet you're going through relaunches right now. And we just talked about the, potentially having an implementer and being able to scale and relaunch. What is a future relaunch for you? Where do you see you growing and scaling and building the next version, not of just your business, but of Leah Rae?
Oh, I love that. I see a future relaunch where I'm able to work only a few hours a week. And I'm probably running a mastermind, and my team is handling the day to day. And I'm working with the top level people. And I'm also homesteading with a bunch of animals and farming and doing all kinds of wonderful outdoorsy things with my family, and homeschooling and teaching through life at the same time.
What emotion is going through you right now as you're even just saying all this?
Oh, just joyful excitement.
See, and that's what you're going to end up creating.
Yeah.
That's the best part. That's, what we call the relaunch code, setting yourself up for that success.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to really give yourself a little time, like you did with your pause between the last company and the new company, and deciding like in very clear ways, like this is what I want from an alignment. And the fact that it wasn't just an alignment with you, it was a alignment with your family, your husband, trying to, go to that next level. What advice would you give right now when people are thinking about getting into the digital space? Perhaps, hey, could I create something like this to sell? How do you start encouraging them to go down the path? How do you get them to kind of assess, is this the right area for them?
I would first start with, does this fit with your ultimate vision of life, right? And who you are as a person. So if there is an ultimate alignment there, none of the technical pieces of getting this going or creating success matters, right? Because you're going to maybe make some money or do something quick, but it's all going to crumble and it's not going to work, or you're going to have to readjust. So making sure that it aligns with who you are at your core. I think that's really, really important. For me, I can only speak to a faith perspective because that's just who I am at my core. My core is my faith. That is my guiding light throughout every decision I make in my life. And so for me, that's what it is. For the audience, the listeners, whatever that is for you, make sure to start with that first. Right?
I always like to say it's your highest self, the best version of you, your wise woman, your wise wizard inside of you. Yeah. And that can tap into that universal strength, God strength, whatever then your creation is. But like you got, you are, that you are God, we're all one, the law of oneness. We are all energy. We are all we have everything within us to be able to do this. And that's the alignment you were talking about, the core of does this feel right? And your answer was a very loud no, and it came from both of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's really where we start. And then comes the actual businessy stuff. Right? Then it comes with making sure that it's how to make this viable on the market, how to actually make sure this is going to sell, this is going to actually support your goals and your dreams and where you want to be financially. And does it make sense to make a full pivot? Does it make sense to just take some baby steps in that direction, or to have a side hustle, or what does that look like? I think that's why you get a coach. I hate to say it. I don't mean to be self-serving or anything, but to have someone, even maybe just someone who's been there before, whether they're an official coach for you, just maybe someone you can talk this through with, because it is always going to be harder than it seems from the onset. It's always going to take longer. There's always going to be more sacrifice and stuff involved. And so you have to know that you're headed in the right direction and that it's actually going to get you where you want to be when you get started.
Leah Rae, this has been so just insightful. And I think that there's so many nuggets that each and every person can take away from this conversation. How can people get in touch with you and stay connected?
So I would love to have people join us over at the Digital Trailblazer podcast. If you are a podcast listener, you will enjoy it. We have solo episodes, but often also guests from all over the industry who are doing really cool stuff in the online space, who have all kinds of cool strategies and things that they're trying and succeeding with sales and marketing and everything else. So if you kind of geek out sometimes on sales and marketing and strategy, You will absolutely love the Digital Trailblazer podcast.
And you've invited me to be on it, which is so
Yes.
sweet of you, which I'm really excited to have us talk about that as well. So you've been doing this. How long have you been doing this podcast?
Just a bit over a year, almost a year and a half, maybe.
And we did talk about, numbers and success, and, you're crushing it. It's because you really, again, whatever you're going to bring to your audience has to be in alignment. And I think that's why it's doing so well. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
And then is there any other place that they can get more information about what you're doing?
Head over to digitaltrailblazer.com. We have everything in there, from the links to our Facebook group where we serve our community for free to all kinds of resources and all of our social links as well.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. And again, what I really want to convey to each and every one of you is that, yes, it is absolutely amazing to have that financial crushing it time. So good. But without the 3HQ involved, without the head, the heart, the highest self, I mean, you could hear, Leah Rae's story. It fell flat. And so if you right now are feeling a little nudge of like, then it is absolutely 100% time to relaunch. All right. So right now, I want you to be thinking about, where are you going? How are you relaunching into the next best version of you?